Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our nation is at an energy crossroads. Either we can further increase our addiction to fossil fuels and use advanced technologies to suck out every last drop of oil, coal, and natural gas that exists underneath the Earth's surface, no matter what the economic or environmental cost, or we can decide to break our addiction to fossil fuels by investing in clean, renewable energy sources that have the capacity to power our nation forever. The majority's decision to cut funding for renewable energy programs and increase spending on fossil fuels makes it clear that they haven't quite gotten off their addiction to dirty energy, but this amendment offers them an opportunity to do so. Their decision is short-sighted, will endanger American prosperity, and threaten our economic viability. To help rectify this situation, this amendment is offered to cut $32 million from the Fossil Energy Research and Development account and increase the solar energy program by $16 million, and give my friends on the other side an opportunity to let the sun shine in and join with God's wonderful source of energy. My amendment has a net impact of 0 on the Budget Authority and does not increase 2012 outlays. Despite the overwhelming evidence that the U.S. needs to invest more in solar and spend less on fossil fuels, the majority has decided to reduce funding for solar research and development by 37%. This severe cut is unacceptable and especially egregious since the majority has allocated an additional $32 million to the fossil fuels account, a 7% increase. This amendment that I've offered seeks to create some parity to 2011 funding by cutting the fossil fuels account back to its 2011 level and increasing the solar account by 10%. Solar is the future and fossil fuels aren't. If the majority wants to fulfill their commitment to create jobs and increase American energy security, then they need to start seriously investing in solar. Recent studies have demonstrated that investments in solar can create 3 times as many jobs as funding for traditional fossil fuels. And if the government decided to invest $1 million in solar development, that investment would create at least 17 jobs. But that same $1 million in fossil fuels would create but 5 jobs. And jobs is what the American public is interested in. The 17 jobs created would be high-paying jobs in the manufacturing and construction sectors, the kind of jobs that once were the backbone of our nation and the jobs that American people are clamoring for, giving the middle class an opportunity to have jobs and participate in the American economy. I've witnessed the power of solar in my own community, create jobs, spur economic development, and transform the lives of everyday Americans. As a result of previous federal solar investments, Sharp Solar, which is located in my district, is a burgeoning solar industry and operates a manufacturing facility that employs nearly 500 Memphians. And additional federal investments in solar will create thousands of new jobs in my district and millions of new jobs across the country, some of which will be in New Jersey. Not only is solar a superior job creator, but it's also far better long-term investment. Fossil fuel proponents may not publicly admit it, but renewable energy will power the future. So establishing dominance in this sector is critical to our national energy security and economic security. Supplies of fossil fuels are diminishing rapidly, and their non-renewable nature makes them a short-term solution to a long-term problem. Recognizing the critical role renewable energies technologies like solar will have, nations across the world are making massive investments in clean technology so they can establish themselves as leaders and exporters of the future's energy. I recently visited Germany, and solar is everywhere. The Germans are investing and supplying many of their buildings with solar, and they are a leader, just as China is. But America is being left behind. As is demonstrated by this appropriations bill, the U.S. is not making the requisite investments in solar to compete in the emerging global marketplace. Unless the majority decides to change course and support the efforts that we've made here to make unprecedented investments in renewables, the United States will transition from importing oil from the Middle East to importing clean energy technologies from China and Europe, not what we should be aiming for. My $16 million amendment alone will not determine the course of America's energy future, because we need to be investing billions in solar energy to keep up with the Chinese, the Germans, and other countries. But this zero-cost amendment will create jobs and push America a little further down the road to a clean energy economy. The amendment offers a clear signal to the American people and the world that the United States is serious about ending its addiction to fossil fuels and becoming a world leader in renewable energy sector. We shouldn't just orbit around the sun. We should harness its energy and use it to supply energy for this planet. The sun is there for a purpose other than just an anchor. I urge support for this important amendment and yield back the remainder of my time.
Gentleman yields back. For what purpose does the gentleman from New Jersey rise?